Good morning. It's Roger Gilbert here in the Rongo Live studio. I'm welcoming Alex Waugh of the National Association of British and Irish Millers. However, it's changing its name, and we are very fortunate this morning to have Alex Waugh in the studio, who's going to tell us why. So, Alex, good morning to you.
Hi, Roger. Good to see you again.
Yes. Thank you for coming back to the studio. It's a very important day or period at the moment, in more ways than one. And I understand NABM, the National Association of British and Irish Millers, after 142 years, is changing its name. Why is that?
Yes, we are. We're moving to UK Flour Millers as our name, and it's part of a continuum, Roger. So the name change in itself is part of a program of trying to bring flour milling a bit more into the public profile. So this goes back. It's a process that goes back a couple of years, and we asked consumers and our colleagues in the industry, people in government and academics, what they knew about the flour milling industry, and the answer was, well, not very much. In fact, to the extent of, oh, does that still exist? Is there such a thing? And then when they were asked for a sort of their image of a flour miller, it was well, somebody a bit dusty, a bit of a country bumpkin type, and they really had no idea of what is involved in making flour, and what we all do.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, well, we need to do something about this, and over the last 18 months or so, we have been trying to present the industry in a more positive light, to find ways of getting out and about, to engage better with stakeholders, whether that's politicians or civil servants or academics or a whole bunch of people right across the spectrum, including, of course, our customers and consumers. And now we've got to a stage where we think we've been making a bit of progress, but as an association, NABM doesn't really tell you what we do.
Yeah.
Even if you said National Association of British and Irish Millers, it wouldn't really. You kind of have to work your way through.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you until the very end that this is about milling, and it doesn't even say flour milling.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, now's the time to start to address that. So that's why we're changing our name to UK Flour Millers, just to make it a sort of a one-step. What it says on the tin. This is what you get.
Yeah.
This is what we do. And that's an important thing, an important part of this process, I think, of raising the industry's profile, raising the association's profile, and engaging better with the people we need to speak to.
So the pandemic, has that moved this along faster? I mean, this sounds like you were already thinking of it prior to the pandemic, but has the pandemic had an impact? Because consumers are obviously more interested in flour now.
Yeah, so absolutely, that moved things along pretty rapidly, and there's nothing like absence to draw attention to something, is there? So, and for a while there wasn't much flour in the shops, and that did make people ask questions about, where does it come from, and why isn't there any, and what's going on. So it's not the route we'd have chosen, but that certainly did help to raise the industry's profile. And I think what also helped was that the industry was able to respond pretty effectively to those questions, and we were able to present ourselves in the light of, we want to meet the customer requirements. Here's what we're doing. We were able to present flour in bigger bags just to help people out, to find new outlets, and I think that also presented an industry that is, it couldn't have done that had it been an old-fashioned stick-in-the-mud industry. We had to be able to respond, and it was nice to see film crews actually wanted to go inside modern mills, take pictures, see what goes on, and as well as, of course, lovely stone mills. But it's modern milling that is really below the radar.
Yeah, and we are in this situation now where we're in a second wave it's getting very serious again, and we're all being concerned about our food supplies, I guess. Is the industry better organised this time around, do you think? Are we sort of like coping with flour in shops and at retail outlets?
So the industry is well prepared this time. It's not as if it's a sort of bolt out of the blue. So there's more packaging in stock. There are better stocks in particular of packaged flour. But last time round, if you look back to March, April, the amount of flour that was going into small packs was up by 80%. So that's effectively 80% of extra capacity that was found in order to do that. So, which is not a bad effort. It seems to me in the space of a couple of weeks. And I think there was a terrific response from the businesses and more importantly the people that work in the businesses to meet that demand. But you're right, this time round we're much better prepared. Actually the peak in demand has been lower. Probably absence is a little bit higher because certainly in the UK we've got a better test and trace system, and people are sort of taken offline and told to self-isolate, so we've probably got a higher absence rate as a precaution, not because of illness. But we're confident we can continue to meet demand as it is.
And of course we've got Brexit, the final stages of Brexit coming up before Christmas, I guess. I mean, is that going to have
Did you say breakfast?
I was hoping you hadn't cottoned on to that, but yes, I did. I haven't long since had my breakfast. But breakfast is coming... Sorry. Brexit is coming up before Christmas, I guess, and it's going to be finalised. And I'm just wondering, is there going to be an impact on the flour milling industry, the supply of possible raw material, the distribution of product? Maybe we were exporting into Europe, maybe not. I mean, is the industry prepared for the consequences of a solid Brexit?
So I think the industry is as prepared, or the British industry is as prepared as it can be. We've been effectively have got several contingency plans in place depending on what the final outcome is. But when it comes to our trade in particular with other European countries, that uncertainty about the final outcome is very debilitating. Because businesses want to know what's happening, and they want to know, okay, so what is the price going to be? To which the answer is, we don't know, because we don't know if there's going to be tariffs or not. So as a result, I think some customers inevitably are saying, well, okay, we're just going to have to move away to use another supplier where we can, until you can offer us more certainty, and that's kind of inevitable. But frustrating nevertheless, because there's been several years when we've been talking about it, and here we are 6 weeks before the event with many unanswered questions, and I guess that's the nature of negotiations. And then there's some particular issues around the situation in Northern Ireland, where it's a little bit tricky to work out exactly what the rules are, because once again they're to be defined by a joint committee which is set up between the European Union and the United Kingdom to work out how the Northern Ireland Agreement will apply, and so far all the answers aren't there yet. So that uncertainty is a challenge. However, when it comes to producing flour, the millers in Britain have stocked up on wheat from other countries, which they know in case there are tariffs that apply, so that they're ready for that for the first few months of 2021, and they're doing all they can to provide that security of supply and a degree of flexibility depending on how it all turns out.
I think flour milling is a little bit different from feed milling. I mean, Ireland in itself, is Northern Ireland included, is a great agricultural country and provides a lot of agricultural products into the UK. So I'm sure it's wider in milling terms than just the flour milling industry. However, you mentioned 2021, the first few months of 2021. You know, looking forward, I think the UK is in a very strong milling position. I mean, we're going to be opening in the first few months of next year the first E3 mill produced by Burla, which is the most advanced mill. It's going to be the most advanced mill on the planet, and its design and construction and the equipment inside and the data that it's going to require to run that mill. I mean, it's extraordinary when you look at some of the detail. And the question I have is, do you think the UK flour millers, as it will now be called, is at the forefront of milling development as millers globally? Are they bringing together the best of efficiency, safety, and all those sort of environmental impact, all those sort of things? Do you get that feeling that the UK flour millers are leading in those areas?
So I think it's certainly the case that over the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of investment in flour milling in Britain. So you know, the mill you're talking about is the sort of the most recent, but alongside that, we've got another new flour mill coming online down in the south. So 3 or 4 other businesses have invested in new capacity, and it's all about. You're exactly right, spot on, Roger. It's about meeting customer demands for hygienic product, efficiently, cost-effectively produced, and there's been. No, that's competition really that drives you in that direction, and I'm sure that in European terms, British flour mills are really well up there, and they're looking for solutions. They're looking to provide their customers with solutions, and that's always been the motive. And if we look at UK flour millers' aims and objectives, it's all about helping our members to meet their customer requirements, and that's been the focus of the industry for years. And we look at our training offering as well. We have been developing over the last 2 or 3 years a virtual mill. Okay, so it doesn't look exactly like a mill in the sense that it's a bit cartoon-like. However, the principle and how we're going to be developing it in future is that you will be able to be in there as if you were in a mill, and that's a really important, I think, training aid. Where you've got these spanking brand new mills, the last thing you want is somebody to sort of twist a knob and for it all to go wrong. Here we are, moving more towards the sort of aircraft simulator model. Okay, well let's see what we can do here and allow people to break things and say, okay, maybe that wasn't so smart. So that's it's a step-by-step process. But that's what we're aiming for. So innovation, yes, in flour milling, and alongside that, innovation in the way we train people, and respond to their own upbringing, because people nowadays don't spend time reading books and sitting at a desk and writing stuff out. So we've got to have training programs that respond to the way that people learn.
And this is not just for UK millers. This is a global approach to training, I would imagine.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've always had a distance learning program that's been followed around the world, and this will be part of that package. It's part of a distance remote learning, and what we've learned from the pandemic is that actually people are quite good when they have to at using new technology for remote meetings and communication. So it happens, I think, that this technology and this approach is it fits the times. So that's good news. Bit of luck for us.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. I mean, that's some great insights and a little bit of insight into where the milling industry is going in the future in this country, as well as a little bit wider afield. But it's always a pleasure talking to you. All the best for the coming 6 weeks. Hopefully we won't be suffering too many tariffs or too many interruptions as we make that transition, and hopefully the milling industry will obviously satisfy demand from consumers as this the second wave is curtailed. But in the meantime, yep. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll definitely meet demand. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
We're all ready to do that. But you're right. Some certainty on the EU UK relationship would be terrific news. The sooner the better. It's uncertainty in business is a bit of a killer, and that's what we've got at the moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you once again, Alex, and look forward to talking to you sometime in 2021. All the best.
Yeah, pleasure, Roger. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye now.